Hey there, SportsLine on your television. Steve Lehman here with you. Glad you are here with us on this Wednesday night on News Channel 5 Plus. We're going to talk Titans OTAs once again tonight. Our phone lines are open. 737-7767. The Titans back on the field earlier today, the second day of their three-day OTA session this week. Of course, they have 3 more days next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Then Monday through Thursday of the week after that. That'll account for their 10 organized team activity sessions, which of course is just a fancy word for practice without pads if you want to get really specific. But that's what they're doing right now. They're getting set for the mandatory minicamp that comes up in mid-June, and those will be days in which they can go full pads, where they can really get after it and really start to see some of this stuff, all these new schemes and everything that the new coaching staff has been telling about, really see some of it come to fruition then. So it's a very important time of the year for these guys to really kind of put their imprint on what this team's going to be, build the chemistry, build the togetherness within that locker room, install the systems and the plays that they're going to use and they're going to run coming up this fall. Get in shape, to be ready, to build some of that grit and toughness that you need to be a good football team, to find guys for the right positions. There's a lot that goes on now. And as people will often tell you, jobs aren't won this time of year, games aren't won this time of year, but this is where the foundation is laid for an NFL football season. You get in there, you get the work done this time of year, and it sets you up to have a positive training camp and get off to a good start in the regular season. One of the big questions about this Titans team, especially coming off of the draft and the fact that they picked Taylor Lewan first with the 11th overall pick, is what's going to happen on this offensive line. Michael Roos is a 3-time All-Pro left tackle for this team. He's done tremendous work for the Titans over many years. But he's in the last year of his contract. Now you bring in a guy like Taylor Lewan, who has tons of upside. Jake Locker called him a freak athletically yesterday. Can Roos hold him off? Or is Lewan the guy to slide in there? And then also you've got a guy in Michael Orr, who you brought in to be the right tackle after 5 solid seasons in Baltimore. He's got experience on both sides, but how does he fit in now? It's an interesting question. It'll be interesting to see how quickly Lewan can come along and if he can push either of those guys to get on the field. Michael Roos said he was not shocked when the Titans made the decision to draft Lewan in the first round. He knew he was going to have to talk about it. And with the start of OTAs, he had to talk about it. We caught up with Michael Roos to get his thoughts on the new guy behind him at left tackle.
What was your reaction with Lewan's arrival on this team?
I don't know if I had a reaction. He's a good player. I know they probably didn't think he was going to be there, and you got to plan for the future, and he was available, so they took the best guy they had on the board.
What do you, early interaction with him? What's the dynamic like? Obviously, because he's wanting to probably impart a lot of wisdom from you.
Well, yeah, he's a smart kid. He's a hard worker, and definitely wants to learn. So, I'm here. As long as I'm here, I'm going to help him and do whatever I can to make him better and get him ready.
Do you feel, it's looking ahead, but, with 1 more year on your contract, do you feel like that has an impact on your future when they draft it?
It might. That's for them up there to know and me to find out eventually. So, I'm here for 1 more year as far as I know, and I've been blocking the blind side for 9 years, and I'll do that for 1 more year. If there's more, there's more. If not, then I'll find out whatever else I'm doing. But until then, until I'm told otherwise, I'm here.
And you also have the benefit of helping make their decision for them by playing, by winning that job. And
well, yeah, and I'm not going to try to do anything different, be somebody different. I'm going to keep playing the way I've been playing and do what I've been doing, and it'll speak for itself.
Everybody always speculates on things. when this kind of thing happens. But in any scenario, could you see yourself moving to right tackle at all? If they say, hey, he's such a good left tackle, we want to get him going immediately.
I don't know. We'd have to cross that bridge if we came to it. I know it would not make that much sense for me football-wise, putting a guy that's been one hand in the ground for 9 years and switching him over. So if that's something they would want to do, then we'd have to talk about it then. But
what would they tell you, Michael, whenever they brought him in here? I mean, did you have a conversation with your position coach?
Bob had called me after it happened, and just to reiterate to me that I'm, going forward, I'm their guy, and that's how it is for now.
How hard is this? I mean, you're getting asked a lot of questions about it. Obviously, you knew we were going to ask you about it. It's on your mind.
It was going to happen eventually. You can't play forever. So at some point, somebody's going to come in. It doesn't matter who you are. There's a younger kid at some point that is either going to push you or just replace you. So it was bound to happen at some point, and we'll see if I can hold them off.
What are your impressions of Taylor as far as what kind of guy he is, what kind of player he is?
He's very energetic. He's he's intense. He's a hard worker, and he wants to learn. So he's very eager, asking questions all the time, and it makes it easier to teach too when somebody wants to learn that much. So it's been good so far.
How much of a challenge is it in motivation for you, to hold the guy off, as you said?
Well, part of it is holding off, and part of it is, like I said, as far as I know, I'm here, and it's my job. So until I'm told otherwise, I'm not going to do anything different, and I'm here.
Is it a tricky task a little bit for you? On the one hand, you're probably kind of competing with him. On the other hand, you're also trying to teach the guy a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, but I mean, part of what's happening is all one floor above us, and the other part isn't here, and we're all on the same team, all playing in the same locker room. So you're going to help the guys you're going to battle with. So it's no different than when I came in here and Hoppy had 1 year left, and he was teaching me everything, and I ended up taking his job. So he was the same thing, contract up, and it's just the way it happens.
How have you learned, I guess, as a player, to kind of shut out all that outside stuff? Because it takes a special skill to do that, doesn't it?
Yeah, I figured it out pretty early on that you can't do anything else about it. All you can control is what you do on the field and your attitude towards it. So all I can do is come in here and work. And like I said, it's my job as far as I know. And until the whole otherwise, I have nothing else no reason to think and worry about anything else except my job.
What did you think about Jake being back out there and the way he was able to do what he was able to do?
It was good having him out there. He's very energetic. He's been doing good off season. He's been doing a lot on the field, running and doing all kinds of drills with us with conditioning. So it was good to see him finally come out there and be in the huddle.
What do you think it says about him that he wanted to be back ahead of schedule?
Well, he's definitely showing his resiliency and his fight too. It's his team. He wants it back, and not back. He wants to stay here and show everybody in the locker room and in the building that it's his team and he's going to stay here.
And do you feel like you're coming off a pretty good year yourself? Were you pretty happy with the way you played last year?
It doesn't matter. I mean, we were 7-9, so there was a lot of bad stuff that happened and a lot of close games, and we just got to figure out those tiny little things as a whole team, as an offense, to figure out the little mistakes and not have them. And so in those close games, we end up winning them in the end.
Michael Roos, after practice at OTAs, of course, talking about his new competition at that left tackle position, Taylor Lewan, the 11th overall pick in the NFL draft this spring, and a guy that the Titans feel very confident in that he can do some things for them. But the question will be, how quickly can Lewan come in and learn everything he's supposed to? And they're throwing a lot at him right now because they're working him out some on the right side as well, because they think he is certainly the third best tackle on this team right now. And so they'd like to have him be comfortable as he can be at working at both of those tackle positions. Because what happens if Michael Orr goes down sometime during this year? You'd want Taylor Lewan to be able to get in there and play on that right side, and it'd be much easier to teach a rookie to move over to that side than a guy like Michael Roos, who's played his entire career on the left side and doesn't have a whole lot of football left, so you're not going to try to change his position. So it's really up to Lewan and what he can do and how quickly he can do it. And if somewhere along the way he proves to be better than one of those guys, then you really get validated for the pick you had. And I've said all along, I think the biggest reason they picked him wasn't so much a now issue on the offensive line, because at the moment they look like they're in good shape with Roos on the left side or on the right side, and that reworked middle with Warmack and Schwenke, the two second-year players, and Andy Levitri, of course, who was a big free agent get last year. But if you look at those tackle positions and the situations there, Roos is in his final year of his contract. or has a lot of money guaranteed this year, but really you can kind of get out from under that contract at the end of this season. So it's an opportunity to really evaluate both of those guys and see how they might fit in for you moving forward. I think this is Michael Bruce's last year in Tennessee, just based off of what he makes and now what you're investing in Taylor Lewan behind him. But Michael Orr's also in some ways playing for his future too, because if he struggles this year, and he struggled last year in Baltimore, although he's been moved around a lot the last couple of years in Baltimore to benefit the team, and his versatility in some ways has maybe hurt his production or his consistency because he hasn't always been in the same spot or asked to do the same thing. But if he struggles this year, it's a potential, I think, that the Titans might move in another direction from that too. And so when you think about it like that, while there are 2 tackles there today, you could be talking about a very different situation at that position come a year from now. And that's why Taylor Lewan, when he dropped, because he was real close to both Greg Robinson and Jake Matthews, guys who went in the top 6 picks, when he was still on the board there at 11, that made the Titans very much want to go after him and bring him in because of the type of player he is, the value he brings, and also the situation as you look forward and you try to build this football team. Our phone lines are open at 737-7767. We're going to hear from Taylor Lewan when we come back on the other side of this break. We'd also like to hear from you tonight. So call in. Open phones right now. Your chance to get in. 737-7767 is the number. Stay with us. You're watching SportsLine on News Channel 5+.